We are testing a new Lumosity game. I've reviewed some Lumosity products in the past. I love the platform, I love the games. They supported the USA Memory Championship, all good in my book. But as you know, I'm very critical of anything related to memory, so I wanted to try out their new memory game called What's My Name? Anyways, that's kind of all I know about the game. I want to try it out for the next month and see what I think about it, if it helps me, and if I think it'll help you. Let's dive in. Let's go. This is my first time playing the game. In this game, you will try to recall names when shown faces. Let's try it now. All right, so I'm a lawyer. Name's Michelle. So this is Michelle. I'm just going to apply my typical naming, memorizing scheme, which is to come up with a picture for the name, Michelle, which in my world is a shell, like a seashell. And I will stick the shell on her glasses. That's kind of the feature that I find here. So I'm going to imagine a swirly, kind of beautifully patterned, shelly kind of shell. Right, and that's Michelle. Spacebar to continue. Oh, okay, well, I know her name is Michelle because I just did that. I'm assuming this will get harder once there's more than one name. When you play again, you'll see some familiar names. Their name will be the same. Try to remember all 100 characters. Is that a challenge? Let me see if I can get through at least the first 10 today. Let's do it. So while I'm learning some names here, let me tell you properly what the technique is that I use, in short. First, I look at the name and I come up with an image for the name, something that I can visualize in my mind. Then I choose a feature on the person's face, and then all I do is imagine the two things interacting with each other. The wilder the scenario, the better and the easier I'll remember it. That's it. Yeah, it looks like we're maxed out at 10 per day, which is a shame. I would have really liked to try to see how far I could go in just one day, maybe even beat the whole thing if I had the time. But I guess we got to span this over 10 days. I'll add 10 people per day, and I'll share some of the tips that I use and some of the images I came up with to memorize all 100 names. See you tomorrow. All right, so we got 10 names, and these are presumably going to be in random order. That's Samuel, Natasha, Rose, Michelle, Angel, Ivan, Isaac, Victor, Helen. All right, cool. So now we'll go and we'll add one. I guess as we add more, it's going to take progressively longer to complete each section. Oh, wait. Oh, interesting. Okay, so it only tests me on 10. So this is a new person. This is Simone. So Simone, I always think of a 1, because Simone. See a number 1 right in the middle of her face there. Ivan, Albert, Rose, Angel, Helen, Isaac, Natasha again. We got a new person here. This is Mildred. So I'm just gonna imagine millions of dollars hanging from her earrings there. Simone, Isaac, Victor, Ivan, Albert, Samuel, Helen, Michelle. I always miss the E. My typing is so terrible. Now, one thing that's interesting, when you do a test like this where it basically adds one more every time, but you're still being quizzed on the other ones, by the end, the ones that you've reviewed from the very start, for example, Michelle, my very first name, is going to be so ingrained because you will have reviewed it so many times by just the fact that it was the first one and you've had to see her over and over again. And this is the case with anything with review. The more you review it, the more you see it and interact with it. Whether you get it wrong or right, it doesn't ultimately matter because you're going to be reminded of what the name is. That is how you get something into your long-term memory. So even though it seems like we're adding more and more faces, you're going to see those faces a lot. So even though you're adding one more, that's not a big deal compared to everything else that you've reviewed a million times. Oh yeah, this was Nelson. That's an easy one. Victor, he's from day 1. Arnold, I actually got him wrong yesterday. Oh, this is a new one. Tina, just imagine a little tiny thing on her glasses there. This guy won the Tonys, he's Tony. This is Natasha from day 1. This is Albert. This is Ivan. This is Yolanda. And this was Manny. He was a new one. Cool, so we added Tina there. I'm just gonna play this a bunch more times till I've learned the 10 names for the day. We're trying to get to 100. There's 100 max. So I spent the next few days learning the rest of the names. I had to travel a bit, so I stopped playing for a couple days and then came back, reviewed some of the names, learned some new ones. And eventually, after a couple weeks, I had all 100 in my head. So it's been about a month, a little bit less than that, and I've been playing this game every day. And I've gotten to the point where I've met everybody. I guess there's a max of 100 people, 100 faces, 100 names on the game. And I'm going to play a little bit and just see how far I get. Give you guys a little bit of insight on how I remember certain names that I've seen over and over and over again. And then I'm going to share some of my feelings of this game in general and my recommendations for you. So let's try this out. George. I got George of the Jungle flying into his face there. This is Samantha. Samantha's, I have a Sammy. Sammy, short for Samantha, resting on the line of her dimple there, crease on her face. This is Leon. I got a Leo, like a tiger, lion kind of thing, scratching at his glasses there. This is Irene. I had a former coworker who worked in IT, and she always carried around a thumb drive with her. So whenever I see, and her name was Irene, every time I see an Irene, I think of a thumb drive. So I'm sticking a thumb drive into her glasses there. This is Clara. And Clara kind of sounds like clear, like something is clear. So I just imagine like her eyebrows are pretty strong. So they're just very clear to see her eyebrows. This is Chloe. In French, un clé is a key. Clé sounds like Chloe, so my image for Chloe is a key. So I imagine a key kind of going through her earrings there, which are always in this picture. As you may kind of get the vibe from, I have a lot of go-to images already set for a lot of names. And that's honestly, some people in the memory world will go out of their way and memorize the most common names and give them images so that they're ready to go. You could do that. I don't do that. I just practice a lot. And so by doing that a lot, I come to often the same images for a lot of common names. This is Rachel. So a friend of mine, Rachel, drinks tons of water from water bottles. So whenever I see a Rachel, it's always a lot of water being sprayed at something. So I have water being sprayed at kind of her kind of muggy mouth there. This is Julia. In French, jolie is pretty. Julia is jolie, so she's a pretty lady. This is Teresa. Teresa, since it starts with T-E-R, I always think of like tearing something. And this one, she kind of had like little curly hair there, so I just imagine tearing that from her hair. All right, there you go. That concludes my month-long trial of this game. I actually enjoyed it a tremendous amount. One of my personal, very dear to my heart records in memory is memorizing names. I still hold the record to this day. I've worked so hard at it. It's one of these things that I actually never thought I'd be good at, even though I was good at other memorizing things like cards and numbers, but names, I really had to work for that one, so I'm very proud of it. So getting an opportunity to play a game like this, a new one that Lumosity specifically developed to help people's memory, got me really excited. My personal thoughts on the game, I think it's amazing. I think one of the coolest features of it is that it uses AI, so you're seeing faces that you've never seen before. So it's completely fair, it's completely new, it's really like you're meeting someone for the first time that you've never met before. What's cool about the AI fact too is that, with pictures, when you're memorizing photos, they're always the same photos. But here, because it's AI generated faces, there are actually times when the person has different facial expressions. So you're not just memorizing the photo, you're memorizing the person. That makes it a little bit harder, but more realistic. And while it is harder, I do like that feature because it's, again, more realistic to the real world. Anyways, get on the app, have a try, and don't forget some of the tips I told you in this video. I think the most important thing is to stay consistent, and you'll see your gains. You'll see your improvement in memorizing and memorizing names specifically. And I guarantee you, if you practice this game, it'll translate to you memorizing names much better in the real world. That's all for now. If you liked some of my memory tips, if you want to hear more about me and what I do, please check out my website, nelsondellis.com, or find me on YouTube. You can watch a lot of my memory tips videos. I'll see you later.